be the policy on protesting, on them having their own individual freedoms outside of being on the football field?
So one of the things that the XFL gets to do, because it's representative of who we are, is be a league of culture, right? And that's right from the beginning, a decision that we know has to carry through. It's not a league where it's about the owners and athletes, you just hire them, but you know what? When they take their uniform off, they're not us. The XFL is all of us. So for us, patriotism is not indifference. Patriotism is fighting, representing, and celebrating and calling out what's wrong with the country you love. And so what we look for is, if a player wants to kneel, if a player wants to stand, let them do it in unity, but they get to be diversified in expression. And that's really important to us.
Absolutely. We have the privilege of enjoying the freedoms that we have as Americans. And as Dany was saying, if our players decide to stand or kneel, they do it in unity. Us as owners, it's our job to identify what their pain is and to take care of them. And then as owners, it's our job then to create a pathway to take care of that and take care of them. And because, I've always maintained, and I mean this truly from the bottom of my heart, deep in my bones, you'd be surprised what happens when you go to people who are in pain and you say, I got you, stand up with me, and let's take care of this issue.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Weekend Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub, and on this week's show, well, first, you heard from Dany Garcia and The Rock, the first time they're on television talking about the XFL. They went through all the different things. If you want to check out the episode, it's on Vice TV. It's called Stick to Sports. And get a chance to check it out, you should. They were on for about 10 minutes, talked about the idea of the XFL. They had some funny other things, and then of course the XFL players kneeling. You get to hear their perspective on it. Do whatever you want. I'll just leave it at that. On this week's show, Taylor Springer is going to interview, he's got an interview with LA Wildcat Dwayne Wallace. He talks about playing in the XFL as well as playing in the Spring League. Now, if you want to head over to xflnewshub.com, you could see a breakdown of some of the rosters. We'll have more of the Spring League rosters and every kind of Spring League information you need. It's all on XFL News Hub, as we're following this, because we're getting former XFL players in the Spring League. We get a chance to actually watch the games. So we'll see how all of this transpires. It seems like the rosters are very rotational. People are getting invited and they're like, they don't want to do it, or they didn't know they were going to do it. And then you have people that are really, so you have some people really excited, some people aren't excited. We don't know what to expect, but will be interesting to watch. And it's just these guys to get game film, and we're excited for them. And we're excited to talk about something that's in this in-between world. We got the NFL world, and we got the XFL world, and we got something in between to talk about. So we're really excited about that. Millions of people talk about the NFL. Not many of us talk about the XFL or the Spring League. And you guys who are tuning in right now are our special little community where we like to talk about alternatives to the NFL, which is the Spring League and XFL. So that's why we're covering it. So speaking of NFL to XFL stuff, we have a couple player movements. First, Roughnecks kicker Sergio Castillo signs with the New York Jets practice squad. That was some good news out of there. So I think we're going to start to see some more XFL players potentially put on practice squads as the season progresses. He wasn't the only one. Dallas Renegades linebacker Trage Scales, he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. So you had two XFL players. Some of the XFL players, like PJ Walker, was active this past week. There was 4 XFL players. Follow Mike Mitchell on Twitter and follow us on social media stuff where we tweet out and push out who of the XFL players is on a roster. We've already had Donald Parham catching a touchdown pass. I want to see PJ Walker on the field. I don't know about you guys, but I do. So we got the interview with Dwayne Wallace. We got your social media stuff, and your thought of the question of the week we had was rate the Spring League logos. So we have that for you and so much more. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week, the short week, the quiet week that was the XFL.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for taking some time to chat with me. So just want to start off kind of like we were talking about earlier. What's life been like since the XFL shut down for you?
Oh man, I just been working out, just finding new ways to be in the best shape and be ready as best as possible. Because as you know, it's kind of hard working out now, especially with shutdown and gyms and all that. But I've took on boxing, and so now I've been doing boxing along with working out with some of my old junior college coaches, and just staying in shape, staying ready for the call, and it's working out pretty good so far. So good.
Good deal, man. That obviously, and yeah, definitely tough to do that. So do you have anywhere to practice, footwork, anything like that, or has it mostly just been the boxing and lifting?
Yeah, I go to boxing to keep on my cardio, and then I just go with my O-line coach and then work on like pulls and sets and inside zone, outside zone, just the regular basics to any offense, and I kind of do that to keep my footwork and always be ready. For any situation. So.
Good deal. No, I appreciate that. So obviously, the spring leagues are going to get kicked off, in a couple weeks here. So pretty quick turnaround. So how are you feeling about getting prepared for something that quickly and being able to, put your best foot forward?
Well, it's not nothing that I'm used to. Everything was pretty fast. It was a new league. Everything was kind of on the slide. Everything was kind of fast. So I'm used to situations like this. I've been in numerous situations like this. Just going to All-Star games and having to learn the offense and play in a couple of days. So that it's not really bothering me. Everybody at the end of the day, everybody got to do what they got to do, and at the end of the day, we're professionals, right? So you just have to.
Good. Have you had a chance to talk to any of the teammates, or you guys been working out together, anything like that?
I talked to Shea Patterson. He has folks down there in San Antonio, so I'll probably go see him and try to see what we could correlate, get some understanding together. And I talked to one of the receiver from Alcon. I train with him now. Keyshawn, I trained with him coming out with Tom Shaw on ESPN Orlando. And that's pretty much who I've talked to so far. And Tyler Romer, we'll play with that guy in the XFL.
Yeah.
And so, I've reached a couple of my teammates and talked to a couple of my teammates. I haven't talked to any of the coaches. I just found out today that my head coach was the Houston Roughneck defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it's all coming together. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised on the level of talent that the league went out and recruited. And I feel like it's going to be competitive. It's going to be a good show that's going to be put on in a short amount of time with the group of guys given that the league went out there and got and that's playing.
Yeah, and I think if nothing else, not that you probably had any doubts about it, but I think the XFL, at least this year, showed a lot of people that, spring leagues maybe get a bag of grab, but there's a heck of a lot of talent out there, and there's a lot of really good players that, maybe they don't make the practice squad, maybe they don't make the roster for the NFL, but there's a lot of talent out there and a lot of really strong competition. So we've been noticing that too with each of these names that get announced.
Yeah, definitely, man. Guys fall short of opportunities like myself, and it's just another opportunity to go out there and and kind of show what you got, giving these scouts less and less giving these scouts more actually to evaluate as a player.
Sure.
And giving yourself opportunities as a player to back yourself up with film, because football, your film is your resume. So limited getting film as a football player. So that what kind of makes the sports tough. So now that we have this league to kind of with in a very competitive manner, given the circumstances, I feel like it's just a great opportunity for a lot of guys in the bubble situation or on the bubble situation who's waiting around to go to the NFL, just to give those guys film, and I feel like it's just an all around plus for everybody.
Absolutely. So, and speaking of bubble, different kind of bubble, have they talked to you about any COVID-19 protocols? You guys got anything in place for that yet?
Yeah, I mean, we all have to get tested. We all got tested, updated physicals and stuff like that, and we got to stay quarantined before we go. They're doing the bubble concepts. We're gonna be in a bubble pretty much the whole time. I feel like it's kind of good, because at least we'll be in a bubble if we get called up by the NFL or get a tryout. So, it's better as far as getting tested. NFL coaches being trusted and confident that they bring in a guy in that basically was just playing and got tested, quarantine free, with all this other people getting tested, tested negative and
sure.
Positive and stuff like that.
So any rules that obviously the XFL had a little bit different set of rules for certain things. Any rule adjustments that you feel like you're going to have to get acclimated with, or just pretty much football business as usual?
Yeah, I feel like it's football, and whether I just feel like it's really nothing to get acclimated to, because the XFL, we have to get acclimated to a whole new rules, and we made that work, and there was a lot of questions about it, but it'll be a success. So I'm just kind of taking the whatever approach, whatever happens. So, where it goes from there. It can't. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be nothing that nobody's seen before or did before.
Sure. Well, and 2020 has a way of throwing wrenches and everything. So if nothing else, if 2020 throws something else at you, you're ready to go.
Man.
Last question I got for you. Obviously, announced the relaunch going to start in 2022. Hopefully, it's a non-event, non-issue for you. If you're in the NFL, you're making a difference there. But if not, and still available come that time, are you going to keep an eye on the XFL, or you on to bigger and better things?
Oh man, I would never say I'm on to bigger and better things necessarily, because it's circumstances. So you're always going to get cut, released over stuff you can't control. However, yeah, I'm always keeping an eye on XFL. There's always a possibility. I had fun during my time there. Had good teammates, built a lot of good relationships, and I feel like it's going to be even better this time going around. So I would not for them out just yet, or consider otherwise.
Sure. I do. I did think of one more question, if you'll indulge me here. So I'm from Central Illinois, so I was a Battlehawks fan. I had season tickets, everything. So obviously, when the season shut down, the big game, the big talk around St. Louis was going to be the LA game against St. Louis. There were supposed to be over 50,000 people there. How bummed were you to not be able to be in an environment with that many people, and pretty crazy fan base there in St. Louis?
Man, St. Louis, man. St. Louis is crazy, man. They're on there. I always see them have a sold-out game, stuff like that. And we was just picking up as an offense, and I was ready to go down there and see Jordan Tamor. I feel like they had a pretty good, solid team. They had a good offensive line. They had a good offense, and the defense was solid. And I was excited and looking forward to play with them. And I feel like it would have just been a all-out shootout, because as you know, we had one of the top offenses in the XFL, and we had just beat Tampa with the #1 defense, so we kind of felt unstoppable, or we was on a good train at least.
I remember I was watching that game. I remember watching that game. That was a late one. So no, I appreciate it. Like I said, Dwayne, thanks for taking a little bit of time to talk with me tonight. Obviously, wishing you the best of luck with the spring league. Hopefully everything goes well, and obviously, hopefully you get that chance to go into the NFL and break through there.
Man, appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. I just wanted to hear for all my followers out there. Appreciate y'all, man, for keeping up with me. Thankful for this opportunity. Always blessed. And just see you guys soon on the field.
Sounds good. We'll keep an eye out for you. I know the schedule got released and TV times and all that stuff, so we're going to be keeping a closer tab, and I'll be covering the Blues throughout the season too. So any plugs I can give you, I promise I will.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, man.
What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today. All right, let's take a look at our social media stuff. First up, the Spring League News, Spring L News, on our poll about rating the logos from worst to first. He's got #1 Blues, 2 Conquerors, 3 Alphas, 4 Aviators, 5 Jousters, 6 Generals. I think that is backwards. Blues is the best. Conquerors, Alphas, Aviators. I'm an Aviators guy. I think that one's the best. XFL Marcas has the Jousters, Hughes, Aviators, Conquerors, Alphas, Blues, Generals. Jousters is a good one, and Aviators a second. I'm kind of liking that list. Tom _Stoogie says he's got Alpha, Conquerors, Aviators, Blues, Jousters on his list of the best logos and names for the Spring League. On to our videos. Paladin Demo says the Spring League should have been called the Spooky League. Just a minor nitpick. Okay. I'm just here just saying says move the Renegades to San Antonio and rebrand them as the Commanders. That's interesting. XFL Jim. Do you think he likes the XFL? You think his parents named him XFL Jim? How convenient. He said, I'd hope that some college kids who have a decent name recognition but missed out on the NFL get a shot, maybe J.T. Barrett or someone else. They could see what happened to Jordan Ta'amu and P.J. Walker and see the XFL as a good destination. We would love to have some good names in our garage. Okay. Raptor 2099. I thought the yellow part of the Vipers logo were fangs, but I see what you mean. The eye. This is going back when we ranked the XFL names and logos from worst to best. G546 says Wildcats could move to Bank of California Stadium in downtown LA. Guardians should move to Red Bull Stadium or the future NYFC Stadium. I think that will probably happen. Vipers to Orlando, Birmingham, Oakland, San Antonio, Portland, Columbus, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Salt Lake City could all be expansion teams. That would be nice. expand, but I don't see that anytime soon. And about the United Football Players Association, catchy guards me. Thank God you players need this for the love of the game. That's what it says, the love of the game. Thank you very much. There on the Facebooks, a lot of woke hate, The Rock and Dany Garcia speaking out, so we're going to ignore those and not even get into that, especially on Facebook. On to, are you excited about the TSL football? Joseph says having team names and logo gives us a bit more personality. I dig the one, but an ode to the old New Jersey Generals. That was the worst one. Gregory says has to be better than watching my sorry New York Jets. Ouch on that one. More ratings from the Spring League logos, worst to best. Clearly we should just go best to worst. Not the biggest fan, Colin_Watkins. First of all, real_PC Wiz says, these legit? Yes, they are legit. Colin_Watkins, not the biggest fan of the Conquerors. I thought those spears look a little like pickaxes at a glance. Jouster's logo has to be my favorite. Jousters is Jousters, Aviators, probably Alpha Blues, Conquerors maybe for me. Big Dog 87, bring back the Las Vegas Outlaws. I like that. A Smith 152 says I like them all. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Fred Gizem _1776 says 6 Jousters, 5 Blues, 4 Aviators, 3 Alphas, 2 Conquerors, 1 Generals. That was your worst, best to worst. There's no way Generals is number 1. HC Miller 17, Jousters, Blues, Alphas, Aviators, Conquerors, worst to best. Jousters at the bottom. Coach Jason Hogan says 1 Jousters, Aviators, Blue, Alpha, Blues, Conquerors. He's got a whole bunch of other lists out there. Okay. Thank you for that. And to our emailer, Tier 1 emailer Nicholas checking in, as always. I believe we're about to get some serious XFL news, and here's why. Interesting. When the XFL restarted in 2020, we got the big announcement within a couple of months. Maybe this time it will take a little bit longer, but I expect to find out who the new GM is very soon. I think he's talking about the commissioner. Is very soon, as well as if any cities get changed. I don't think that's going to change. I believe it will take longer for new coaches and revised TV deals. I agree with that. I believe the new ownership should be close to identifying their new commissioner so that person can hit the ground running. The new cities new to be announced to gain a new fan base and draw some excitement for 2022. I think a lot of we're not going to really hear much, I don't think, until maybe December, January timeframe. I think there's going to be a lot between the election cycle going on now and then, everything going on with a potential change in the virus that's around. If numbers go up, a lot of attention. And plus you got Thanksgiving and then you've got Christmas. So I expect to maybe it'll be quiet for now. But then once we get to hit January, February, we'll start to hear some rumblings. All right, first of all, we would like to thank Dwayne Wallace for appearing on the show and our own Taylor Springer for getting that interview. It was really interesting to hear his take on not only the XFL, but the Spring League as well. And we'd like to thank all of you guys for participating in our little social media. What do you think of the Spring League logos and names? That was good too. So if you want to be part of the show, you can email podcast@xflnewshub.com or call 888-430-7692 extension 3. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the whole thing, especially YouTube. Do that. Plus, you can download our apps. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. We really appreciate that. And you can listen to the show anywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. Show notes, xflnewshub.com/xfl-podcast. Join us on the Discord as we are building a little bit more than just XFL Fantasy app, and I'm excited about that. So join us on the Discord. You can find that on the website and in your show notes and everywhere else. And that's it for me, folks. It's been a quiet week. We're going to probably have some quiet weeks going forward. We've got a little talk about the Spring League and any other XFL news that comes about. So thanks for listening. Stay safe out there, my friends. Mahalo. Put your mask on. And I will see you all later.